Hello everyone. Informal Fun Fact Friday this week because spring is officially a thing in Walla Walla, and my allergies decided to celebrate by punching me in the throat. But the video must go on... video... Per Daniel's request, this week is about the composers of the pieces I played in my concert last week. I'm really glad that he asked me to do that, because in doing so I discovered that Sait Sean is one of the coolest composers ever. While Dvorak, who wrote our first piece, is more well known and actually wrote my 30 favorite seconds of orchestral music ever in the New World Symphony, I'm sure you've heard of and probably played in orchestra with us. Ba 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 da 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 la da 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 la dun 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 bam 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 ba bam ba ba da da ba 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 ba. Unfortunately, Dvorak got to his position as prominent famous person in the very boring way of actually working hard, like going to college and doing stuff like that. His life wasn't very interesting, or at least the brief synopsis I read on Wikipedia. Sait Sean, on the other hand, was more of a child prodigy than Mozart was. Before we get into this, I want to clarify that it is definitely not pronounced Sait Sean. For one, it's French, and two, he was in fact so atheist and pessimistic that his philosophy was existential before existentialism was a thing. And he legitimately wrote philosophy because he was actually a genius. He was born in France in 1935 and was raised by a single mother. His father died 3 months after his birth. Very early on, he started on piano lessons, and when he was 2, it was discovered that he had perfect pitch. Which, for those of you who don't know, means that he automatically knows what a note sounds like without having to hear a reference. He composed a piece on piano when he was 3½, and he accompanied a Beethoven violin sonata at age 5. At age 10, he played a Mozart piano concerto and several other pieces by people like Handel and Bach, and then, as an encore, he played all 32 of Beethoven's piano sonatas. From memory. Just a reminder, he was 10. He would later be regarded as one of the best organ players ever to live, and one of the best pianists of his time. But he wasn't just a brilliant musician either. By age 3, he was reading and writing, and he had somewhat mastered Latin by age 7. I'm going to more or less quote the next few sentences directly from Wikipedia, because it basically sums up the intellectual nature of Sait Sean. He was an expert at mathematics. From an early age, he studied geology, archaeology, and botany. Later, in addition to composing, performing, and writing musical criticism, he held discussions with Europe's finest scientists and wrote scholarly articles on acoustics, occult sciences, Roman theater decoration, and ancient instruments. One thing that I cut out of that passage was that he was also really into lepidoptery, which, for the majority of you who don't know, is the study of butterflies and moths. He caught butterflies in his free time because he had the brain the size of a planet, so why the heck not? I personally just find the image of a depressed existential man running around a field catching butterflies really hilarious. On a different note, his family history, while interesting and unique, is depressing to the point of tragedy. At age 40, he married a 19-year-old and they had 2 kids. Both kids died within 3 years of the marriage and within 6 weeks of each other. One died from illness, and the other fell from the 4th story of the building they lived in while Sait Sean was walking up to the building. Sait Sean blamed his wife for this, and subsequently decided on a vacation a few years later to just disappear and leave her behind. They separated, but never divorced. Sait Sean died in 1921 in Algiers at the age of 86. Sait Sean's life is particularly depressing, but all in all, he's still a really interesting person. Or at least has a really interesting story. Last note for Daniel. In reference to the reptile video, which you want me to make a suggestion for, my suggestion is your favorite reptile. I don't know what it is, you've listed several, but I want you to pick your favorite and do a video on that, because I find the most interesting videos are on something that the person cares a lot about. So find a reptile you really care about and do a video on it. I look forward to it. See you later.